Did you know at this very moment someone is on Amazon and Etsy actively looking for a quality coloring and activity book to add to their shopping cart? The only question is, will it be yours? Since you're listening to this podcast, hence the name of the show, it's pretty safe to assume that you have a keen interest in creating and selling your first or next coloring book. And it's for that reason I want to assure you you're in the right place. And I'd like to help you make it a reality by inviting you to check out the Coloring Book Creator Mentor Program, the first of its kind complete A to Z course that features live weekly coaching, resources, templates, and an extremely supportive online community, all designed to assure that you create a standout in-demand coloring book that you'll actually enjoy creating, promoting, and selling. Imagine the feeling of knowing somewhere in the world someone is adding your beautiful new book to their shopping cart, investing in a piece of your creativity. Enrollment is open and you can get started by going to coloringbookcreatorcourse.com. That's coloringbookcreatorcourse.com. Welcome to the special edition of the Coloring Book Creator Podcast. Over the next 10 episodes, I'm going to walk you through the 10-step roadmap I've created called Validate Your First or Next Coloring Book Idea Before You Make It. Alrighty, welcome back. So we are actually now going to recap everything that we've covered over the last 9 episodes, and then what you can do to move forward in terms of implementing everything that I've shared. So let's start with the recap. Step number 1, we want to get clear on what makes a coloring book idea more sellable than others. Step 2, uncover your unique point of view and point of differentiation so your book stands out. Step 3, use Google search formula to research book ideas and validate the market. Step 4, refine your Google, Amazon, and Etsy research findings in ChatGPT. Step 5, explore collaboration opportunities and who has the attention of your ideal book buyer. Step number 6, publish an interest post on social media to attract potential book buyers. Step 7, add a social media layer of interactivity to nurture relationships with your growing audience. Step 8, put together a sampler to distribute to early responders that express interest in your book idea. Step number 9, launch a pre-publication email list and start collecting leads. Now, these are the foundational pieces of starting to develop your book idea and introducing it to market before you publish. But here's what I also want to share with you that I know for certain and what I see happening in all areas of doing business online, not just coloring book authors. This process helps you to be able to create your book in collaboration with other people, not you going off by yourself, doing your book alone, and then publishing it up on Amazon without any kind of connection with people, with no audience building, with no nurturing, with nothing. Because when we collaborate with others, we're getting essentially what I call buy-in. The smartest marketers online understand the value of buy-in. If you look at software, more specifically like any software program or apps or anything of that nature, they typically do not have every bell and whistle and kink worked out before they put it to market, before they share it with the audience. They actually want early adopters. They want feedback. They want that information because that information will inform what goes into the final product, which is never really final. It's always a version 1.0, 2.0, so on and so on. So this method of being able to market your books pre-publication is a way to test the audience, connect with the audience, grow the audience, nurture the audience, get them involved in your process as you're building out your book. Because it's in that process that you will not only be inspired to continue to get it done, but also to have an interest audience of people who have already raised their hands, and ideally, when it comes time to launch, actually will be the first people who will buy the book. Now, a word I just used just a second ago, I used the term launch. We've heard this. If you know anything about online marketing, I'm sure you've heard this a dozen times. The literal definition of launch means to start or set in motion a campaign of connected activities designed to attract the attention of an audience. That you want to have some sort of an ongoing, deepening relationship as you're building out your book, leading them to purchase because they're feeling a connection to you. Something that I say all the time to my Coloring Book Society members is that you want to get in front of the book. Many times as creators, we want to hide behind our products. I'm suggesting the reverse. Get in front of it. So by connecting with collaboration partners, by reaching out to people on social media and responding to them, by giving them sample pages, by setting up a Facebook group or YouTube channel or an Instagram or a TikTok or whatever you choose to use, and have them color the pages and post them and share them with you, you're getting engagement going and you're creating and deepening and nurturing a relationship so that they feel a part of the process. One of the things I learned very early on in my career as a photographer, which I was for many years, and also an online management implementation strategist, helping entrepreneurs get their business set up online. The number one thing that I learned very early on, many, many years ago, was that behind the scenes type content, especially with creatives, goes over really well. I want you to resist the urge to go off into your little world and do everything off on your own and then just come out one day when everything is done. I want to encourage you to share your process as you're creating this book in this context and everything connected to it through your social media as you're doing it. Because again, that's going to get people to connect it to you, which gives you buy-in, which gives the person watching it a sense of ownership, like they feel like they're a part of the process. Behind the scenes works really, really well. If you ever watch anything around fashion, you know that the cameras are also not focusing on the runway where the models are walking down the runway, but they're showing you in the back where all the chaos and the commotion is, where the makeup is getting done and the hair is being touched up and the dress or the outfit's being fitted and everything's getting tightened up and straightened and pinned up and everything. And then they walk out on the runway. We're just as much, if not more so, fascinated behind what's going on behind the curtain than what we see in the front. And so as a creative, in this case, as an author of a book that you're working on, sharing that behind the scenes process as you're building out your product is going to help people feel more connected to it. And what you may not realize or you may not think is that that is some of the best marketing self-promotion. That in of itself is a campaign. It's the definition of, to me, a launch to a great extent. Because as I'm peeling back the curtain and letting you in, you are now getting an opportunity to see what is involved in the actual creation of this. You feel a sense of ownership to it. Because if you're actually letting people in and letting them see, it's not that you're readying the product to market. The sharing of that process is the marketing. That is the self-promotion. What I have found with creatives is that we don't want to look like we're not polished. We don't want to look like we're not ready and that things don't get messy. And we don't want to look that way because we would think that the impression that it would make on someone watching this is that we don't have our stuff together. But the opposite is really true. It is marketing. It is the thing that is going to connect and create what we're looking for. And a lot of times we'll stop ourselves because of all the things we're telling ourselves that, well, this doesn't look right. It's not polished. I don't have it all together. That's okay. The other thing that comes up for us is the unresolved stories we have in our head. No one's going to buy this. Or who do you think you are to create a book? You flunked finger painting in elementary school. How can you put a book together? Or you think the opposite, that marketing and sales is sleazy. That's a common assumption that a lot of artist creators have, when quite frankly, the opposite is true. Marketing is probably one of the most creative things you can do. Actually, it's incredibly easy for artists and creators because any creation that we make, whether it's a book, a dress, a photograph, or whatever, evokes emotion. And emotion sells. If we are focusing on tapping into that, we don't have to stand there waving our hands saying, buy my book or buy my this. We just share it. It's going to either connect with the person holding it or it's not. And for those it connects with, if they feel a way about it, they're going to want to buy it. But we've got to get in front and present it. So when you think of it this way, your book literally sells itself. You just have to be willing to get in front of it and not hiding behind the book by freely sharing it in the world. And that's exactly what I talk about inside the Coloring Book Creators Hub. Now, you've heard me mention several times throughout the other episodes, I've mentioned the Coloring Book Creators Society. That is a paid membership community that I have for people who want to go through the entire process of taking everything I've shared and actually put all of this in place and get the book developed and published, and then have ongoing support to market the book, keep it out there so that they can continually sell the book and develop additional income generating opportunities based on the book. As you've heard me mention, maybe in some of the previous episodes, I talked about some of my members are creating from their book, they're spinning off into new products like greeting cards or note cards. They're doing subscription boxes. They're incorporating other business interests that they have, like jewelry. They're doing multiple things. They're now shifting into planners and digital planners and things of that nature. They're setting up Etsy stores. They're selling wall art prints, getting wall art commissions. They're taking the concept of the book and now they're further productizing it in a variety of ways. One of my members, Marcia, is now developing a series of workshops and courses based on the foundation of her book. So that's what I go into in depth in the society. Now, before we go there, it's important that you come into the society, if you choose to, fully prepped. So what I decided to do was to create this free introductory tier that you just experienced, where you receive some step-by-step instruction with audio, video, and some template resources that accompany everything that I've covered in the last 9 episodes that you've listened to. So if you heard me talk about having a template in order to be able to put together your coloring book, I have a template for that, how to put together your sampler. I also have templates for social media. I call it a social media template pack. So there's templates in there on how to put together a 3D book cover. I have templates in there on how to put together your banners for your Google Forms and for your Facebook group, and a very popular post style that you can use on social media, especially Instagram, called a carousel post. I have templates for all of that inside the social media pack. I also talked about creating this form, Google form, that you will collect email leads from. So once you have their information, what do you email them? What do you say to them? Well, I have an email welcome script template. So you get 3 to 5 emails in there that you can just customize to your own audience, your own languaging, and you can email those out to the people who are on now your email list. I have scripts for how to create the interest post, the Canva coloring book template. I also have the validate before you make it prep planner checklist, resource guide, and process tracker. You also have access to a spreadsheet where you can collect all of that research that you did on Google, inside of Amazon, and also on Etsy. I have a special spreadsheet that I will give you that you can record that information. So whenever you need to go back and check something, you've got it at a moment's notice at your fingertips. I'm also going to be offering an in-depth Chat GPT training. Also, a training on how to use Midjourney, which is another AI tool for making coloring pages. And I'm very impressed with that tool and what it's doing right now, including how to craft prompts that you would feed into Midjourney. If you're not familiar with that, check that out. Again, it's a fantastic tool that's getting better every day. And I think it's a great way to get some sample pages done and potentially even build out your whole book, including the cover. Hub members also get access to a monthly recorded Q&A call. So you would post your questions inside of a member-only Facebook group. I will address those questions and I will post them in a video that's posted in the group. You also are going to get a member-only invite to upgrade into the society if you choose to. You'll get a $50 off coupon code you can use to get $50 off of the enrollment in that program. All of this that I've just shared, the template packs, the welcome scripts, the interest posts, the checklist, resource guide, trackers, the spreadsheets, this special training on GPT and Midjourney, access to the Facebook group, the Q&A call that you can get your questions answered every month on a recorded lesson, plus the $50 off coupon code to join the society in the future if you choose to. Again, this is first step, but I feel it's very important that everyone go through this so that when you decide to ascend into the society, you are now already foundationally set up, and then you can just move strictly into getting the book produced, getting it published, and then building out your business based on your book, whatever that may mean for you. If you're still trying to figure out that idea, validate it, get the foundational pieces set up, this could be the program for you. And then if and when you're ready to then ascend into the society, then you have an option to be able to get in there for $50 off the regular price to join that program. So you can get started and see everything that you get by going to coloringbookcreatorcourse.com. That's coloringbookcreatorcourse.com. I've got the link here also in the show notes, and you can see everything that I've shared, everything laid out visually. You'll see some testimonials there for some of my students and members. And again, I created this because my initial vision for this was that you would get your book done in 30 days. But there's some foundational things that need to get done because I feel this is a part of the book production process. And I know some people need more time. They're trying to figure things out. They've got life issues going on. Things are happening for them. They don't have a lot of time. And so they need more time to get everything developed. I want you to publish your book from the perspective of you've got some interest, you've got some audience, you're getting some levels of engagement. You're not just coming out with the book cold with no one knowing anything about you or the book or why they should care. The hub will help you to get that foundation set so that when you get ready to produce the final book, it's going out to an audience of people that have raised their hand and said, yes, I want to get this. And if you want to go further with it, then you can come into the society when it works for you and get it at a discounted price and then be able to get that direct one-on-one support from me. Just so that you know, inside the society, I do live coaching calls per week for the first 3 weeks of every month. So society members do get to ask me questions directly inside the first, second, and third week of the month on Tuesdays. Plus, you get even deeper access to everything in my program, including how to pitch yourself to podcast, how to turn your designs into product that you can publish on Etsy, how to set up an Etsy store. It just goes into so much more depth. I realize that for some people, it can be maybe overwhelming because there's so much in that program. So that's why I wanted to put this as an opportunity ahead of it so that you can at least get an understanding about how I work and to validate your idea and start building up that confidence by going through this process first before you get into the nuts and the bolts of really building out the book, sourcing the artwork, getting the cover designed, going through all of those steps, then the process of actually publishing the book on Amazon, talking about the subject line, the categories, the keywords, the book description, creating graphics that you can put on the page to make the book even more enticing when someone goes to the listing. Or if you want to offer it a digital iteration of it on Etsy and set it up there. Or you want to make additional products based on the designs and create a store around that. Or explore how to get commissions like Michelle or do custom work for individual clients as well. So there's a wealth of opportunities and a wealth of options for you. But I feel that foundationally, no matter which way you go, you've got to have an email list. You've got to have a social media presence, an idea that you believe in, an audience that's interested in that idea and actually has shown and proven to buy. And you need to have access to these tools right now, in particular around AI, that is going to help you either develop the book itself up to, but not limited to, the actual pages that go in the book. Enrollment at the time that you are listening to this episode of the podcast, the program, the Coloring Book Creator course, is $297 at the time I'm recording this. And because you are a podcast listener, you are also going to be receiving a $50 off coupon code that you can put into the checkout to take $50 off the course. So you actually can get it for $247. And again, that coupon code is available inside of the portal of the program where you're watching and listening to all the videos. That coupon code is there. So you'll be able to access that. And again, the course is normally $297 at the time I'm recording this. You can put the coupon code in and receive an additional $50 off to come in for $247, which will give you access to the complete course plus 90 days in the society for additional coaching and mentoring support. So again, you can check that out at coloringbookcreatorcourse.com. At the time I'm recording this, that very well may change, but at the time I'm recording this, that's what is currently what the society to join that is about. If everything I've shared over this whole series speaks to you and you know you want to get yourself set up foundationally, this here is the way to go. So again, if this speaks to you, you can join today. Go over to coloringbookcreatorcourse.com. Again, that's coloringbookcreatorcourse.com. And the link is also here in the show notes as well. Go over there and check that out, see everything that you get. And if it's the right fit for you, I'd love to have you over in the hub and support you further with implementing the things I've shared in this podcast series. This is Rodney Washington, your host. I really appreciate you listening. And if it's the right fit, I'd love to see you over in the hub. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
My name's Susie Antara James. I'm an energy worker, Angel Channel, and I have been blessed in the past 2 or 3 years to learn how to create journals. And in part of that process, I learned the technical skills. Well, some of the technical skills anyway, not all of them, but enough for me to be able to produce a few journals and place them on Amazon. More recently, I felt guided and inspired to produce a colouring book. And this I did because the inspiration came from my granddaughter. And I produced a colouring book called Dottie's Dinosaurs, which I love. It's one of my favourites. But as a part of that, I've always felt that I wanted to write a book. And everybody's always saying, yeah, you should. And I started writing numerous genres, children's books, sort of spiritual books, angel books. So lots of writings, but never produced anything. So I put it all to one side and thought maybe I'm not meant to after all. And then along came a few weeks ago an advert which said, if you could, something along the lines of, how would you like to produce a colouring book within 30 days? And I was like, oh, wow, yeah. Even though I've already produced a colouring book and it's on Amazon, I thought, yeah, I'd love to. Why not? Let's give it a whirl. So I applied for the 3-day workshop with Rodney Washington. And wow, I was absolutely blown away. My mind just went boom, because as soon as you register, you are invited into the Facebook group. So off I popped into the Facebook group before any of the other course content came into being, or we even started the workshop. And I scrolled through Rodney's Facebook group and came across one of his very first introductory videos. And I sat and I watched it. And instantly my heart just went, oh, this is where I'm meant to be. It is just everything Rodney said about working from the heart, how to serve others, that it's not about the book, just completely resonated with me. And I just knew I was in the right place. I then did the 3-day workshop, and again, amazed by Rodney's generosity of spirit, Rodney's belief in you as an individual, even though we'd only just met, and the other ladies that were on the workshop as well had only just met. He just connected with us all on such a deep personal level without even needing to try. And it just felt so connected. And it's something that's really sometimes just so difficult to put into words, because the English language for me doesn't really ever give you the right words to express the feelings that you have. But the beauty of what Rodney teaches us, it comes from his heart, it comes from his soul, it comes from his desire to help others. And it just shines through him when you connect with him. So trying to find the right words to express the connection that I felt when I met Rodney and we started doing the work together. He's just such an inspiration. I mean, he'll tell you his own story as you talk and work with him as to why he does what he does. But it's just done with so much love and compassion. And he's so, so patient with you. You know, a lot of my technical skills have been self-taught or through other mini courses where you get the sort of the little nuggets that you need, but then not the full integration. So, of course, he just talks us through what we need to know with the skill sets that we need. He provides guidance and inspiration every time we meet. And he provides so much knowledge and information on his course platform as well. And we don't just learn about the book writing, the image producing for the pictures. He teaches us how to use the platforms that you need. He teaches us how to use email and Google Docs and all those technical things that I guess for a lot of us who are creatives can be very, very overwhelming and daunting. So I have to say this has been, I mean, I've been on other courses. I've been on ones that have will teach you to write your book in 3 days. And they give you the basics to do that, but then you have to go on and do their extended trainings and all of that. So all I say is that we each have individual ways of working, we each have individual skill sets and connecting with different people. For me, Rodney is the one that I've connected with, and I absolutely love working with him. I look forward to our meetings twice a week and just learn so much. And all the other women in this group that I'm with are so inspirational as well. We have so much fun, we have laughter, we have conversation, and we learn, and it's brilliant. So if you're watching this and you're considering being a part of the Coloringpreneur Society groups, I highly recommend working with Rodney. You could not get a better mentor, teacher, guide, and inspirer and he just makes everything so much fun. So please come join us, and I look forward to meeting you. Much love and blessings. Thank you so much.